Welcome back to the Verge Studios for another episode of Pardon Our Promotion. I'm Scott, this is Bob, and with us today is Lindsey for the first time. Lindsey, how are you? Welcome.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to talk about theme nights, guys. Bob, what's your favorite theme night?
Well, the favorite one we ever did was called Awful Night.
Okay.
And that was way back in, I think, 2003, 2004. We were brainstorming about all the crazy theme nights in minor league baseball when somebody came up, and there was probably beers involved with, well, of course, all these are so awful. Why don't we just have an awful night? And it ended up being a wonderful night because, well, here's the basis of it, of course, everything is awful. But you have to produce it very, very well, or people won't get the joke, right? Otherwise, they'll just think it's awful, right? But so everything throughout the night was awful. The headshots had, or half of the guy's face, or maybe it was not even an image on the headshots. All the on-field promotions were the worst. Usually second place got the prize. The loser got the prize, and we had sumos. I think instead of the normal sumos, we did sumo ballet. Our giveaway that night was bubble wrap because it only cost about $500, and everybody got one. So there was 3,000 people that came through, and there was 3,000 people popping bubbles, and they just enjoyed it tremendously. That's awesome. It was one of the better giveaways actually I've ever seen used. So just a lot of great things. And actually, it's filtered through the industry. There's a lot of teams that have done. In fact, Lindsey, I think, did that night at the Dirty Birds, or was it at the Power?
Yeah, it was the Dirty Birds.
Okay.
We did Awful Night. I think the trick with Awful Night is making sure that it is produced super well, right? You don't want people to think you're just really bad at everything. So that was the kind of the fun of it, was coming up with awful ideas that would still play to the audience, that they were still good ideas and kind of ironic in a way.
One-hit wonders, really horrible songs. We had that one. Who's a guy that sang that one song on American Idol that he was so bad that he hit YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
I forget.
Oh, I know what
he
you're
was
talking
an Asian guy that did a really great job, and he became a super B-list celebrity.
William Hung.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's the guy. One of the favorite things at the end of we actually did Awful Night a few nights or a few years in a row, but intern fireworks was like the culmination of the night. By then, the crowd gets the inside joke, and so they're all waiting for this intern fireworks show, and the interns went out dressed in superhero costumes with their capes floating behind them, and they turned around and lit sparklers. And when they did that, everyone in the crowd went, "Oh!" But they weren't mad. They were like, they got the joke, and then they all got up and took
Awful
out.
Night's not so awful. Right?
No, it was wonderful. Everyone had a really good time. The crowd was into it. Yeah, they really had a great time with that night.
What about you, Lindsey? What's your favorite theme night that you've seen?
Yeah, probably Redneck Night. We did Redneck Night in West Virginia. Obviously, that plays really well there. People wear the redneck title with a badge, in West Virginia. We just kind of amped up anything that was redneck. We had a redneck hot tub, which was an old school truck. We put a tarp in the bed of it and filled it with water, and fans actually got inside of it throughout the game.
Was that on the concourse? Or?
Yeah. We ended up having to close it down because it was on a Thursday. So, some beers were involved, and people got a little too redneck. But that was.
Did they use it as a toilet too?
Oh, I hope not. Probably. We did the Redneck Bachelor, had a redneck seating area with some old couches and just kind of some fun play on that. And I think the giveaway was a mason jar. That had Redneck Night, the year on it. And we did it a couple times later on in the, throughout time. It was kind of a returning promotion. I think the first time that we did it, it won a golden bobblehead. So that one was really fun to kind of play on all those.
Nice.
When you guys are planning your theme nights, what goes into a successful theme night? What areas are we thinking about? What are you, what do you focus on? Is it the crowd? Is it the elements? What goes into a successful theme night?
Yeah, the quick answer is everything.
Sure.
And some teams, they plan theme nights, and we're going back to a few podcasts ago when we were talking about the fourth P, and that's producing, right? They have this great idea. They plan this great idea. They're even talking about it in sales and all that. And they forget that last step, that producing. And if you're going to plan a theme night and you want it to be a really, really good theme night, you want to focus all your efforts on producing it all the way from when the first guest gets there to the last guest, and all the different things that you do on a normal night. But you theme those things out. For instance, I'll throw it at you, back at you. If you start at gates and you started in the pregame, what would you do on a theme night to theme it out?
Yeah. So
nothing. See, that's what some teams. There was actually a night called Nothing Night, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you were referring to, just that.
But yeah, you start from the moment that fans are going to enter through your gates, and you just kind of go all the way. So we talk a lot about touch points, and those are all of the different points that your fans interact with people at your game. So, down to your staff
costuming at the gates,
wearing all of the different, whatever the theme is, wearing something that goes along with that theme. We talk a lot about the different senses and playing to those as well. So
yeah, I think I went to a tattoo night recently, or this past season, and the parking attendants actually gave out fake tattoos to the kids that came in. So it started even before they got to the gates in the parking lot even.
Yeah.
So I suppose kind of thinking chronologically as a fan, or your audience comes through, what they're going to be experiencing, and then, like you said, the five senses playing off that. How can we affect that? Even food matching the theme, the smells of that.
Well, the interesting thing about that is telling the fans. Now, it sounds so simple. But when they get in there, you might have had it on a pocket schedule or whatever, or maybe in a radio ad or something. But that doesn't mean everybody walking through your gate knows it's Redneck Night or Awful Night or whatever. So the most rudimentary thing is, welcome to Awful Night on the video board. Yeah. And they're playing throughout the night, to be blunt, because people their attention spans, they're all over the place when they're walking through your facility. So you have to tell them what's going on, or on Awful Night, they'll think it's really awful if they don't get the fact that we're doing something. So video board content early on, if you have a video board, we were kind of brainstorming night 2 days ago, and we were talking about, was it 80s night? We were talking about some of the cool videos we could play on the video, get them off of YouTube or whatever. So all kinds of period videos or theme videos, theme slides throughout the pregame. Also, your entertainers, your car clubs or band dance lines or whatever, getting them to actually come up with something. One night, I can't remember, it might have been 80s night, I think, probably, we produced, and we had a dance line doing Michael Jackson's Thriller with the beginning of that dance thing. Oh, yeah. And that was a really good addition to that theme night. So you really look at everything you're doing. First pitches, pregame show, the radio play, the radio interview of the day when your play-by-play person's talking to your skipper, bring it up. Hey, were you around in the 80s? What did you do? What did you wear? Did you wear Jabal jeans or whatever? I can't even say the word right. Is this still our brand?
Jabal jeans. I don't know.
Probably is. I can't
jeans?
say it.
Yeah, I suppose. So it's like, really, you're trying to, within the theme, activate kind of everything you do. I was in one of our clients, Fresno Grizzlies. We did an agriculture night. And instead of first pitches, we did first peaches. And we actually threw out a peach as opposed to a baseball. And I thought that they came up with that. I thought that was pretty clever. What are some of the other areas in a theme night that we can focus on to really make the theme activate or pop?
Yeah, I think it's all in the small details, right? So everyone thinks about the big stuff. You think about what's going to go on the video board. You think about what music you're going to play. But I think it comes down to having a really successful promotion is having those little teeny tiny details, like the sound effects. Like you might think, oh yeah, we definitely want to play this song, but like, are you incorporating sound effects into the theme as well? And like with the peaches thing, like that is such a small element. Yeah. But it adds so much more to the overall theme.
Opposing player music. Some facilities don't even play it, which I'm very much against it because the opposing players, it's the perfect time to entertain and to throw up different weird headshots and everything else. You can really make fun of the opposing players. So yeah, that's where you're throwing in on Halloween night all the eerie music or whatever during, that you can't. And even if it's country western night, we're doing country western music the whole night, right? So, but on opposing player, you even take it up that notch, and add that. So it's a really good, that small detail thing of adding it in.
And staff buy-in too, right? Your entire staff buy-in is really important. We talked about touch points, and to get those touch points and to activate those touch points, you got to have staff buy-in. Everybody's got to be matching the theme or embracing the theme. And the more minds you have on it too, they're going to bring their own creativity as well.
Yeah. So what about giveaways? What do you do? Like, they always have the bobblehead, right? But the bobbleheads are expensive. But on a theme night, we can give away really small trinkety giveaways just for fun to add. So like I said, with the awful night, not spending a lot of money on bubble wrap, but it's a giveaway. It's something to grab onto. Do you have any other like trinkety giveaways that you guys did on any nights like that?
I'm trying to think, but I think that with that gets fan buy-in too. Yeah. So when you give those little teeny tiny things away, it gets them more involved. And I think that really brings them in almost as their own element.
Golf tee on golf night or whatever it is, golf widow night, a golf tee, or a dog, like a little dog treat for, bark in the park night, something very simple like that. And I do actually have a quick minor league baseball story about that. There was one time, I'm not going to say what club it was, but the president of the club told me the story that he did a nice little giveaway on bark in the park night. And it was like these little bacon bits or something and as he walked out into the crowd, he noticed that half the fans were eating them. And I'm not going to say what city that was in, but maybe it was close to Charleston, West Virginia, but not in Charleston, West Virginia. So yeah, that was quite the giveaway that actually ended up being pretty good, I guess, for the fans. So, and what about concessions items? How does concessions get involved?
That's a big one. Yeah, having a featured food item, or did you do a concessions item for your redneck night?
Yeah, I think they did like fried bologna sandwiches or something along the lines with bologna, which ended up being on the menu all the time after that.
And then Spam. I think Spam was a feature on our awful night when we first did that. So yeah, and I always give the example on Jamaican Me Crazy night of doing Red Stripe beer and jerk chicken, as a concession. So it just brings that whole, like you say, it's the small details. Right?
Is there anything that's kind of off limits theme wise? I mean, obviously, we're here to have a good time, so we want to have fun and make it funny. But, is there some kind of theme that, plays better than others, or a rule of thumb, if you will, that, let's keep our themes within this genre? Or is it kind of up to, the creativity of the producer?
Yeah, I think you want to push the bounds a little bit. You want to make the themes a little wild, while also staying respectful to everyone involved, obviously. But we want to push push the norm a little bit more. So like with Redneck Night, like, some people might think, oh, that's a little too out there, like calling people rednecks. But at the end of the day, it's all fun and games. So
it is. And in that particular thing, actually rednecks they do have the badge. I'm a redneck. They like to be a redneck. So there's some politically correct things or incorrect things we can't do anymore in our modern culture, which is fine. There's so many other things that you can make fun of or have fun with that you can stay away from those unique things. What was that night? It's indulgence. No, secret. What do you call it when you're? I was actually eating my ice cream last night. I was thinking about that as a theme night. I love eating ice cream out of the ice cream container, which of course drives my wife crazy because it's everybody's ice cream, right? But that's my indulgence. That's my secret. It's that secret passion night, but I forget the name of it. But you can only go so far and stay like G or PG rated on those kind of things. So
yeah, interesting. Well, we're curious what kind of theme nights you guys have seen and what you like. So as always, please send us your comments send us some awesome themes that you guys have done and how they were activated and why they were awesome. We love talking about that stuff, and we love hearing from our listeners. So I think that's all I have today. You guys have anything else you want to add for theme nights?
Try Awful Night.
Yeah.
Try Redneck Night. Try, what's another one that's a really good one? Mardi Gras Night's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. 80s, you mentioned that earlier. That's always a great one. Game show night, fantastic ideas too there. But yeah, I mean, there's really no limit, I think, that we've discovered that on a theme night.
I think we have 800 theme nights in our database.
Yeah.
Some of them are maybe not so politically correct anymore, but
We've updated them.
but yeah, there's a lot out there. So you got to try it. But if you do try it and you do it, you got to go all the way. Go all the way in and use that fourth P. Produce it. Produce it very well, and it'll go over well.
Well said, Bob. Well said. As always, it's all about the fans, guys. So until next time, we'll see you later.